Good morning. Hey, I wanted to put out a few videos on stretching. Today I'm going to focus specifically on the hamstring muscle and stretching that muscle. I'm going to provide 4 ways of stretching the hamstring. Now, a couple things about stretching in general. It's very important that when you go into your stretches, you go slowly. Oftentimes I see many people that they just go boom, right into that stretch really fast, and that's a great way to pull a muscle. So especially if you haven't been stretching, you want to make sure that you go into that stretch very gently and feel a gentle stretch. You don't want to feel any kind of pulling. You don't want to overdo it. Just a nice gentle stretch. It should feel good. If it feels bad, you're going way too far. So remember that in any stretch that you go into, you want to enter into it slowly until you feel that nice gentle stretch, that good feeling. Okay, so hamstrings. This is a very tight muscle for most people. If you experience any lower back pain, it could be, and I say it could be because I am not a doctor and I'm not going to diagnose you, but oftentimes people experience lower back pain because their hamstrings and or their hip flexors are very tight. So it's always a good place to start, is to start stretching those muscles if you're experiencing that pain. Now with that said, I'm also going to say that guys have tighter hamstrings in general than girls. Okay, so you guys, if you are, especially if you're working, doing a lot of physical work and stuff like that, make sure you're getting those hamstrings and hip flexors stretched daily. Everybody should be stretching daily, and if you feel like you need to do it 2 or 3 times throughout the day, then absolutely go right ahead and do that. Okay, and just because guys have tighter hamstrings, ladies, don't forget you need to stretch as well. It's also important for us. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 hamstring stretches. I'm going to start with the most basic and the one that most people can do regardless of their abilities or where they're at. So I'm going to stand up, and all we do here in the standing position is we're going to put a foot out in front with your heel down, toes pointed upward. Now where the stretch tends to come in is as we push our hips back like this. You keep your back straight, hips go back, and then you will feel the stretch in the back of your leg. Be sure to support yourself on your legs here. We don't want any unsupported spinal flexion. Now, some people may not have to come down far at all. You might be here and feel that stretch. Beautiful, just leave it. If you're not feeling the stretch, push those hips back more and more. Some people may even need to take their opposite hand and go out toward their toes to feel that stretch a little bit more intensely, okay? But again, gentle stretch. If you feel any pulling, you've gone too far. So there's lots of range depending on where you're at. Now, if you feel like you're going down here and you're still not really feeling that much of a stretch, you could always take it to a step, go to your stairs and go to the lower step or even the second step, put your foot on it, and then again, just push those hips right back, and you might feel that a little bit more, okay? So there's one hamstring stretch and from the standing position. Now down on the floor, we can do it a couple of different ways. You could put your foot here right next to you and then lean forward with your opposite hand. Now, I say keep this leg up here. If you have any issues with your knees, you could just kind of put it off to the side like that and stretch forward. If your knees are okay, if your ankles are okay and you're feeling okay doing this, just let that knee sink out to the side and then reach forward toward those toes. And once again, some people may just come here and feel the stretch. Beautiful, leave it. If you need more, that's when you reach forward. You could also, well, if you're going to do one leg at a time, make sure you do both legs. And I tend to find that I get a deeper stretch when I do one leg at a time. You're going to get more effect that way. But you could also do 2 legs, especially if those knees are bothering you. Put both of your legs out in front, hands here, and then press forward. Notice these hands are here for support, supporting that back, and then press forward. If your back is okay and you feel like you can let go, then reach forward towards your toes, feeling that stretch. Because you're going to feel this one particularly in your back as well as your hamstrings, so you just want to be very aware of what's going on back there. Same as the standing stretch. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you could always elevate your foot, put it on a surface, maybe a stool, a platform, a very low chair or something, or a bench. But then you do the same thing, just reach forward. And I say use the opposite hand to reach forward because that helps to keep your hips in alignment rather than going with a twist. We don't really want to do that. We want to keep everything in good straight alignment. That's number 2. Number 3, we could stretch our hamstrings by going on one knee, extending the other foot straight out in front, and your hands are on either side of your leg. Some people find it very difficult to get into this position, so if that is you, don't feel like you have to do it. Take any of those other stretches that you feel that you can do. Now this one here, you can intensify the stretch by flexing your foot, or just leave it relaxed and come down a little bit further. Know your range of motion and enter into it slowly. That's number 3. Okay, number 4, final stretch. Lying on the ground, you're gonna extend your legs straight up, grab your hand around it. Now for some people, if you cannot get your hand around the leg, I recommend getting a towel. In fact, I'm gonna grab one right now to demonstrate. Because this is a wonderful stretch, and you can do this stretch in bed too. Put it around your leg, maybe around your calf, and then pull in like this until you feel the stretch. Okay, so for some people, you might be way out here. Some people, you can use that towel to pull in, or even just use your hands. As you get more flexible, you may even be able to touch those toes and pull that leg down. And some amazingly flexible people can do like an upside down split. Yeah, nowhere near that, but that does feel good in the back of the leg. All right, so I hope that helps give you some ideas for how to stretch out your hamstrings and make your back better. Do this, like I said, every day or a couple of times a day, and you're gonna start to become more and more flexible. Breathe, relax. This should not be a strenuous practice. This should be something that feels good for you. All right, have a nice day. Bye-bye.